Pittsburgh Steelers fans, welcome back. It is a marvelous Monday, the start of week 5 of the great 2020 quarantine. And Pittsburgh Steelers fans, we are with you once again. We are all excited because it's our mock draft Monday. And, Dave Schofield on Behind the Steel Curtain always has a mock draft Monday, but we're taking it a little bit further. Last year, Tony, Dave Schofield, and I did this on Blog Talk Radio, and it was hard to hear. It was a complete mess. We did it. Now we're doing it once again. Now we have teased for a while. What we're going to be doing is we are going to make sure that we have your show next week. So I'll give you the address, badavis8889 at gmail.com, and I'll put that up a little bit later. But what's that for? That's for you to sign up. We already have about 12 or 14 to sign up to be your own GM next week. I need 32 GMs. So let's keep those coming into that email address. If you want to join us, we'll talk about that a little bit more later. But now, the non-experts, you guys are more experts than we are, right? So with that being said, what we're going to do is we're going to do it ourselves. Once again, joining me is my good friend, Tony Defeo from Behind the Steel Curtain. Tony, how are you?
I'm good, Bryan. How are you? Happy Easter. Happy Easter to you too, Wes. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Pleasure to be here.
Tony, you're still stealing my thunder there.
Sorry.
Thunder.
I figured people could see him. Sorry.
So we're welcoming in somebody from our live chat that sends us emails all the time with statistical information. This guy knows more about the draft than Tony and I combined. So we're glad to have him aboard. We're really excited. Yes. Did I go out of the house today? No. But if I'm going to be your GM, if I'm going to be not Bad Exotic Steeler King today, if I'm going to be Bad Executive Draft King today, I got to dress the part, right? Tony.
Looking good, man. You're looking good. I all I did was put a polo shirt on, and you're there with the tie, the button-down shirt. This is how I would go to an interview. That's how you would go to an interview. That's why we're in different stations in life.
That's awesome. So the question of the day, we're going to have your chance to jump into who will fall to the Steelers in the 2020 mock draft. Now, of course, we're only doing round 1, but at the end, we're going to take that giant leap to number 49 to say who we think the Steelers are going to take as well. So we're really excited for all of that. Let's get this started. Let's get this party started. We have we went through the draft lottery, and since Tony's lost almost every bet that he's made with me this year, especially since he lost what was our show that we had that we would argue, not show, it was our article, Point Counterpoint.
Oh yes. So point counterpoint, yeah.
You get the number 1 pick because you lost almost every point counterpoint.
That's right. I was tanking it for Tua.
That's what he was doing. We talked about you tanking for Tua. Wes Hickok, since you're the new guy you're the expansion team, we'll have you draft 2nd, and then I will go 3rd. Basically, I'm going 3rd because I have no clue what's going on here. I have no preparation whatsoever. I'm just winging it. And so that's pretty much what the Cleveland Browns do every year. So I figured I would try that too. Jeff Volan asked who is drafting for the Steelers in the mock draft. What we're going to do is we're just going to do that. If we're talking next week, that's going to be a consensus. This week, we're all drafting for the Steelers this week. So with that being said, on the clock is Tony Defeo, looking good in tiger stripes. He is Tony Exotic Bengal King at number 1. Who you going with, Tony?
Well, the pick is in. I'm handing it to the commissioner. And with the first pick of this mock draft, the Bengals select Joe Burrow, quarterback, LSU.
Whoa. You must have
going out on a limb.
Yeah, copy that.
You researched that like crazy. Now,
well, I was gonna go with I'm tempted to go with Chase Young because I think he's the best player on the board. But I think you have to start with a quarterback, and the Bengals certainly need a quarterback. So I think he's a no-brainer at number 1.
Okay, so a little disclaimer for we talked about doing trades, and just for the whole confusion of this thing and not to have it last longer, we're not going to do trades. But fellas, I'm going to ask you, Wes, what do you think right now? Do you think the Bengals are going to actually trade out of that pick?
I think there's a chance, but it's a really slim chance. I feel like all the things that Joe Burrow has said are what he's supposed to say, but there's a part of me that thinks that there's a possible Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning thing going on in the background. I don't believe you look at the history of the Bengals. I don't believe for a second that whatever quarterback they take is going to amount to anything in a Cincinnati Bengal jersey. I just don't. I don't believe they have a terrible offensive line. The worst thing they can pick at number one is a quarterback to play behind no offensive line. It doesn't make any sense to me. I get that quarterback is important, and I think that they will ultimately take Joe Burrow. But I don't think it'll matter, not without an offensive line.
Tony, follow that.
He makes a lot of great points, but I think the Bengals fans have been anticipating Joe Burrow for months. He's a Ohio guy, and it's going to be a work in progress to try to build a team around him. But I think it all starts with the quarterback. So I think you have to start from square one, and why not start with a quarterback?
Very good. Very good. Something, I like to go off on tangents as a draft. I really don't want to, but one time check out the 1984 NFL draft. And that was right in the middle of the USFL madness. The Bengals had the first round draft pick. And who were they trying hard to negotiate with beforehand before they traded out of that pick?
Steve Young.
Bengals would have had Steve Young. Then he signed like a 40-year or like a 4-year, $40 million or something where they were paying him forever. It was almost like a Bobby Bonilla deal that the Bengals just couldn't go with. So really interesting. And they traded out of that spot. Ended up taking Boomer Esiason later on in that draft. So very interesting. Wes, you're at number 2. You are the Washington Redskins.
Well, I heard you guys mention this the other day, and I agree with the mentality. There are 3 things that you do not pass up on if they are the best available: quarterback, a left tackle, or a pass rusher. So, in reality, the best player available right now for the Washington Redskins, and the obvious choice, is defensive end edge rusher Chase Young out of Ohio State. It's got to be the pick. It's got to be the pick. There's not a left tackle that's better than him at their position. There's really good ones, don't get me wrong, in the draft, but Chase Young is the obvious can't-miss prospect right here. And if, like Tony said, I could see the Bengals taking Chase Young just on the fact that he's a home state guy and so good, but their bigger need is quarterback. Washington Redskins with him on the board, there's no way they don't take Chase Young.
All right. Very good pick. So it's now my turn, and I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions here, who are still, let's tie this into the Steelers. They are still very much embroiled in that 1959 Bobby Lane curse. And in fact, it went a lot longer than 50 years, that curse, when Bobby Lane got traded to the Steelers. And he said, you won't win another thing for 50 years. It's gone a little bit longer than that. Now, Matt Patricia, everybody's favorite hobo coach, needs more defense. This guy is a great defensive mind. He needs defense. Well, they need a lot of things. They need a cornerback. They need a defensive lineman. They need a receiver, a running back, offensive line. So they need a lot. But I really think in this situation with Darius Slay gone by the wayside, I'm thinking that they do not trade down like they have talked about and stick with this spot and take from the Ohio State University, Jeff Okudah. And if I am messing up that name, please help me out. But Okudah is going to go 3rd overall at number 3 to Detroit Rock City.
I like it.
Makes sense to me.
All right. And guys, Tony knows this. Tony never he never challenges me, and I wish he would. I wish he would. He does on point counterpoint, but if I have a bad pick, blast me to pieces. I want to hear it. I definitely want to hear it.
Well, I would challenge you, but I had that as their pick too. So
let's go to
him.
Let's go to number 4. See if we have any surprises. The New York Football Giants, Tony. They are up next.
With the 4th pick in this mock draft, New York Giants, they need, like Wes said, you don't want to pass up the best left tackle, and I think that's Tristan Wirfs. I think that's how you say his name. Offensive tackle, Iowa. And that definitely they need help on defense, but Daniel Jones needs somebody to watch his blind side. So I think that's who you have to go with.
Very interesting. I like that pick a lot. I wasn't having a worse going quite that early, but I know he is a fantastic pick. Good job for there in Gotham, the New York Football Giants, going with Tristan Wirfs. Nate, excuse me. Why did I say Nate? So Tony, good pick. Wes, what are your thoughts on Tristan Wirfs?
I'm actually both surprised and impressed that you went with Tristan Wirfs. I've heard a lot of people go with I believe Jedrick Wills or Andrew Thomas as a top tackle. I actually disagree, and I think the combine proved that with Tristan Wirfs. He absolutely dominated in the workouts. He's extremely, extremely athletic, a guy that you could play on either side of your offensive line right away. He's actually the one left tackle in this draft that I think is a shoe-in starter from day one.
Yeah, I knew that all along. Everything he said is true.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm impressed that you went with him. I'm surprised because I wasn't sure anybody else would have thought like me, but I like that pick a lot.
Tony's got his finger on the pulse of American football. All right, so let's get this party moving. Do we have a surprise at number 5, or did the Dolphins indeed tank for Tua? Wes?
We are going to have a surprise. I believe that Tua is a possibility here, but you can't discount the fact that he's had 4 surgeries in 2 years. He's not the biggest as far as his build and his size at quarterback level, or at the NFL level, excuse me. I'm not going to go with Tua here. I'm actually going to go with safety linebacker Isaiah Sims out of Clemson. I think he's a dynamic player. I think that the Miami Dolphins are going to be wanting to add some serious excitement for their fan base, and what better way to do it than take the most dynamic player in the first round of the draft?
I tell you what, that guy is absolutely dynamic, but no quarterback for Miami. Wow, I like that. Isaiah Simmons, I think that guy rivals Chase Young as one of the most dynamic defenders in the draft. Dropping number 5, I'm actually surprised he got past the Giants. But wow, what a pick. What a pick, Isaiah Simmons. You just can't go wrong here, can you? So looks like it's my turn, huh? I'm going obvious here. The Chargers have been talking all along that they want a quarterback. I'm looking at who the best quarterback on the board is. I actually thought that they would be trying to trade up to get Tua. I had Justin Herbert marked down, but now this is a guy that drops to you in this situation. I'm going. I haven't been able to pronounce it all year, but I'm going to try it now. Tua Tagovailoa. Am I even close? I'm just going to write down Tua from the University of Alabama. Wes, did I get it right?
I only know this because Tua himself pronounced it. It's not pronounced anything like it's spelled. It's actually Tua Tagovailoa, or Tagovailoa, excuse me. It's actually Tua Tagovailoa.
See, that's why we brought Wes in, Tony.
He pronounced it that way himself, and I would never have pronounced it like that. But yeah, that Tua himself pronounced it like that.
Very interesting. Well, Tua is now going to tank in Los Angeles, the city of angels.
I like that. I like it.
So he'll be under the bridge downtown with Anthony Kiedis and all the other guys there. One of my all-time favorite songs from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. So how to give that when I'm talking about the city of angels, I got to throw that in. Los Angeles, one of my favorite all-time places. One of these days I will take up residence, but my family won't go with me. So I'm here in Maryland for a little bit longer. Let's keep it going. The Carolina Panthers, Tony, had a lot of changes this year. They have a new coach. They lost their star linebacker. Cam Newton is no longer there. They even got rid of the quarterback that they had there last year, Tony. What do they do at number 7?
Well, it would have been a tough choice if Tua was still there. But with Teddy Bridgewater signed through, I don't know how, he has a $60 million contract, it makes it a little easier to pick Derek Brown, defensive lineman, Auburn. I was going to go with Isaiah Simmons, but Wes stole my thunder. Good job, Wes.
Derek Brown is one of those guys that could move all around that defensive line, Wes. Is that true?
I do think so. He's definitely scheme versatile. I don't think he's going to be as good. So I'm not comparing the two, but he's similar to Aaron Donald in the ability to play defensive tackle and defensive end in any front. I don't think he'll ever hit the ceiling that Aaron Donald has, but I mean, let's be honest, it's Aaron Donald. So I mean,
right.
That's not saying anything, but I definitely like this pick here for the Carolina Panthers. It makes a lot of sense.
All right, as we keep on going, I want to just yell at somebody and say that is the stupidest pick ever, but these are good picks so far, but it is the top 10. There's still time, and maybe it'll be me who makes that dumb pick, and the odds are pretty much me. But here we go with one of the new sexy teams. And when I talk about sexy teams, the Arizona Cardinals are definitely, that arrow is pointing up. They have, a hot young quarterback, really fantastic number 1 overall draft pick last year. Now they've got the stud receiver. I mean, they have a fantastic running back in Kenyon Drake. Could this be the team that really makes a huge move? And can they help themselves big time at number 8? What's going on in the Valley of the Sun, Tony?
I don't know. That's Wes's pick.
Actually,
that's my pick.
Wes, what's going on in the Valley of the Sun?
There's a couple of routes I was thinking about going here. The obvious one, simply because their quarterback really wanted him, was CD Lamb, but after the absolute boneheaded trade that was committed by Bill O'Brien, a wide receiver this early in a deep draft doesn't really make a whole lot of sense for them. I do know that they have one of the worst offensive lines in the entire league, and for that reason, I'm going to go Andrew Thomas here, and I want to tell you that he plays for Georgia, but I don't think that's right.
Andrew Thomas plays for Georgia.
You are correct.
Oh, okay.
Correct, sir.
All right, yeah. So, and I don't know. He's a really good left tackle. I don't know. It's kind of your choice, really, which you prefer between him and Jedrick Wills. But to me, he's a very strong starter capable. Not quite as starter capable, in my opinion, is Tristan Wirfs. But definitely a guy you can bring in and probably start at right tackle right away. Let him groom for that eventual left tackle spot, which I believe they have Humphreys at right now. But it solidifies that offensive line, the ends of the offensive line for them. Their offensive line right now is atrocious. So, yeah, that's where I'm going.
All right, here I am at number 9. And so here's a team that needs absolutely everything once again. It's Jacksonville, where dreams go to die. And for me, I'm thinking out loud that maybe they are not ready to go to the future with porn stash Gardner Minshew. So what I'm saying the Jaguar King is not going to be Mr. Minshew, but it is going to be our good friend from the University of Oregon. Quarterback Justin Herbert going to Jacksonville. That could be the dumb pick of the draft, but I'm going with it. Surprise, Tony?
Not anymore. I mean, I would have been if it was a quarterback that was rated a little bit lower, but since Herbert's still on the board, I mean, guys like porn star, they usually don't last beyond a year in the NFL. He's more of a sensation than anything else. If it wasn't for his antics, I'm not sure if he would have caught on the way he did with the public. So it's a solid choice, and they definitely need to find a replacement for Blake Bortles because that was an experiment gone wrong.
Tony, I want you to grow that mustache. I would actually pay you to grow that mustache.
All right, times are tough. I could do it.
Yeah, you're like, hey, I'll do that. So challenge accepted. If you're in the live chat and you really think that Tony needs to grow a Gardner Minshew mustache, throw in 10 cents in the super chat. That'd be awesome. Gardner Minshew, Tony Minshew. I like that.
That's right.
So Wes, you are not next. Tony's next, and Tony is the general manager for the Cleveland Browns. Can Tony make a mistake for the lake?
Well, I've had calls in the live chat not to draft an offensive tackle, but they're pretty loaded on defense. They have the quarterback, at least on paper anyway, and they have some pretty decent skill position players. So that leaves left tackle, and that leaves, if I can get the name right, Mekhi Becton, left tackle from Louisville, or offensive tackle from Louisville.
I'm going to try Mekhi, but I don't know.
Mekhi.
I want it to be Mekhi. I think Mekhi would be cool.
In the Midwest, it's probably going to be Mekhi.
Wow. So we've got a big drop-in, an offensive lineman dropping down the board, but a lot of people like Mekhi. Not Mekhi Pfeiffer, but Mekhi Becton, I think. Wes, am I right? Is it Mekhi?
I've heard it both ways. If I had to guess, I'm going to say it's Mekhi Becton, but okay. I'm not sure.
Anybody from Louisville, let us know. Tony and the Browns. Ezra says, Tony and the Browns, you should have called in sick today. And so Gyro wanted you to take Jake Fromm. When he started writing, I thought he was writing Jake from State Farm. So Jake from State Farm might be better than Jake Fromm. I don't know. Actually there at that pick. Wes, here we go. This is another team that, gosh, it's too bad we're not in New York, where they used to have the draft every single year at Radio City Music Hall to watch everybody just go crazy when they pick the guy that they don't want. The New York Jets, you would always make the draft more exciting to watch just because they were the Jets and their fans were there in droves. Wes, are you going to do JETS, Jets justice?
Well, I don't know. I do know this. Last year, Le'Veon Bell included, that offense was atrocious. He didn't live up to the hype, and I don't really think that Sam Darnold is a great quarterback. However, the thing about Sam Darnold is he can't succeed if he's got nobody to throw to, which means this pick has got to be Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver out of Alabama.
Jerry Jeudy to the Jets.
Yep. Got to give him somebody to throw to.
They're gonna be excited with that pick. That is a beautiful pick there too. So Jerry Jeudy going to the Jets, and we just had Tate Boys Z61. I put it up earlier. He said, "Listen to the black guy," is what he said. That was his words. It is Mackay. So I was right.
You were right.
So how about that? I've impressed myself. So so what a great quote. So here we go. It is Mackay for Tate Boys. We could hear Steeler fans just completely. I can't wait to Yinzer gets a hold of Mekhi Becton's name and all these names. Like when I look at the Steelers draft needs, like further down the road, I'm looking at guys that Yinzers could just completely just demolish those names. I love it. That's the only reason I was rooting for Chukwuma Okorafor a few years ago. I just couldn't wait.
Just a side note here on Mekhi Becton. It's kind of fitting to go to Cleveland because I actually think that he's the most overrated offensive tackle that will go in the first round.
So I kind of did my job a little bit.
Yeah. I really do. I think visually all the tools are there, but there's something about that guy that just tells me he's going to be a complete bust and be very overdrafted. It makes a lot of sense to go to Cleveland because that's just what Cleveland does. So I like that pick.
All right. I did my job.
So here we go. I am going to Viva Las Davis right now, and I am going to rep Mark Davis. Brian Davis is repping Mark Davis, and our good friends, the Las Vegas Raiders. How weird is that to say? These guys need a wide receiver, just like the Jets. They need a receiver, but I'm not going with the guy that everybody thinks that they're going to grab. I'm going down the list a little bit, and I'm saying that they are going Henry Ruggs III from, Ruggs from Alabama. One of the reasons I think they're going for him is Denver wants him bad. And this guy is a burner. They love burners. And I mean, I tell you what, in his grave or his mausoleum, or maybe he's in cryogenics, wherever Al Davis is right now, he is smiling the biggest smile because he is going to love this pick. So just the fact that he's a burner, it's taken a guy away from a divisional divisional foe as well. But I think they like Ruggs. So I'm getting not blasted, but a lot of people are surprised that I went with that pick. But hey, it's the Raiders, and it's a Raiders type pick to me. So let's go with Henry Ruggs to Vegas.
Very good. Very good.
Really? Because come on, blast me. Now Dante Harris helps me out here. He's like, because at first he was like, why over Lamb? But then he's like, 4.2 is tough to look past.
Yeah, that's the thing is that I think that physically, CeeDee Lamb is the better wide receiver physically. But speed-wise, speed is speed. And if you look at the history of Oakland, they love speed. They've always loved speed. That's even back in the Al Davis days. They drafted for speed. He's the fastest wide receiver in the draft. Point blank.
Remember Darius Hayward-Bay went number one.
Exactly.
There you go.
You need a wide receiver. He isn't a bad wide receiver, and he's the fastest wide receiver in this draft class. It screams Oakland Raiders.
Wow, very good. That's I was really trying to get something a little crazier, and but wow, people are agreeing with me. I'm not sure how to feel about that. So the Indianapolis Colts are not on the clock because they have DeForest Buckner now, and the San Francisco 49ers are now picking at number 13. This is the Super Bowl runner-up, picking all the way at 13. Are they going to help out their defense, or they need some receivers too? So there's a lot of cool things they could do here in San Francisco. Tony, what are you thinking?
Well, the original plan here was to draft a receiver at 13 because that's a big need for them. But since Mel Kiper and many other people have said it's the deepest receiver class they've ever seen, I think they can still get one at the end of the first round. And the reason why I'm not going to go receivers, I can't believe this guy's still on the board. It's a great value pick for the NFC champions, and that's Javon Kinlaw, defensive lineman, South Carolina.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Javon
I love that pick.
Kinlaw.
Thank you very much.
I actually think that he's better than Derek Brown.
Well,
I did not see that one coming. I like it. I've seen him going in the late teens, early 20s, but Javon Kinlaw, nice pick. All right, let's keep this party going. We are at number 14 now, and picking at number 14 is Wes for a very intriguing team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What are the Buccaneers going to do? I heard they need a quarterback because they lost they lost what's his name? Jameis Winston. He's gone.
Yeah,
they don't have a quarterback down there.
Even with Tom Brady, I still think they need a quarterback. But
really, I was joking.
Yeah, I was actually gonna go Javon Kinlaw here. So I think no matter what they do, Tom Brady's gonna get killed this year because of who his coach is. However,
I like it.
They don't have a great offensive line on the edges. And for that reason, to me, the only pick that makes sense here is left tackle Jedrick Wills. And I forget where he plays, if I'm being completely honest.
Alabama.
Yep, Alabama.
Everybody plays. If you don't know, just say Alabama.
Yeah, and that's true. So they've got the only chance that they have to succeed, as good as that offense appears as far as weapons, is to protect Tom Brady. It's got to be an offensive lineman, whether you go a tackle, an interior offensive lineman, although I think it's still a little early for that. You got to protect your quarterback, especially when he's 50 years old or whatever Tom Brady is these days.
Mm-hmm.
So
he's younger than me.
Out of Alabama.
All right. So I guess I am next on the board, and I am drafting for the Denver Broncos. And I'm still sticking to the original plan. They needed a wide receiver. I'm going CD Lamb. And out of
Oklahoma.
I was about to say Alabama, but I knew it was Oklahoma. CD is probably one of the best. Arguably, you have Judy, you have CD Lamb, you have Ruggs in the mix. This is a deep cornerback draft. A deep receiver draft. So I'm going to go ahead and say, CD Lamb goes to Denver, and he's Rocky Mountain High for CD Lamb. So, Tony, you were in the ATL. You just touched down at Hartsfield, and you are the general manager for the Atlanta Falcons, a very intriguing team. Todd Gurley's there now. Do they still need a running back, or do they always need help on that defense?
Well, they definitely need help in the secondary from everything I've read. They have enough firepower on offense, it would appear. So with that being said, the Atlanta Falcons take CJ Henderson, cornerback out of Florida.
The Gators. Yeah, that just seems like a Falcons pick. It seems like every year they pick a cornerback. I mean, when I think of them, I think of I think of a corner, and I'm laughing because Mark Davison is saying draft new uniforms. Well, they got them, but wow. And I got to tell you, I got to go back on one. One of my favorites is Steve Martin, my favorite all time. And Ezra brings up Oklahoma. If you don't know what that's from, That's from the great 1988 film Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Michael Caine and Steve Martin. It is just absolutely brilliant. If you love Steve Martin and you missed this film, which you may have, it is absolutely incredible. I love that. So every time I hear Oklahoma, I'm thinking of that line. So Ezra, thanks for doing that for me. I love it. Oklahoma, Oklahoma, Oklahoma. And he's wearing he has a fork with a cork on it, and he's wearing an eye patch when he's saying it. So picture Steve Martin doing that. It's worth $3.99 if you have to go ahead and pull it up on anything, whatever streaming service you use. So CJ Henderson goes to Atlanta. So the Dallas Cowboys. Wes is now working for Jerry Jones, and wondering what these guys do. They need. I think they need a lot on defense.
They do need a lot on defense, and this is not, in my opinion, the best edge rusher available. However, I've heard a lot of rumblings about this player connected to Dallas in the first round. I don't even think necessarily that he should go in the first round. However, because it's Dallas and they like to do things different, I'm going to go edge rusher linebacker Zach Vaughn out of Wisconsin.
Wow.
I did not see that coming at all. Zach Vaughn or Bond?
Vaughn, B-A-U-N. I think it's very early for him. I think he's a mid-second round guy, but I've heard him connected to Dallas a lot on various podcasts. Jerry Jones seems very eager to get this guy. Like I said, I don't think he's the best available edge rusher available in this mock right now, but I do think that it might be very well could be the guy that Dallas picks.
Wow, a definite head scratcher there. I would say I am surprised at that pick, but that's the thing. You know a little more than we know. So there you go. That's I mean, I know Wes knows more than we do, and I know he studies this.
Absolutely.
I think that's you've got a few out there that's like going, well, wow, that's a crazy pick, but that's you're putting yourself out there. I love it. Yeah. I love that.
Don't get me wrong. I think it's a crazy pick too, but I genuinely believe that it's very possible that that's actually what happens.
And you know what? There's plenty of crazy picks when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. So there you go. You know, in Big D, they are crying right now because, you know, everybody in Dallas is subscribing to BTSC. And if you haven't, you need to subscribe to BTSC Radio too. Hit like and make sure you subscribe to find out every time that we're going to be popping on your screen or wherever you listen to podcasts or view podcasts or whatever you love to do when it comes to all your friends at BTSC. Miami Dolphins. This is the Steelers pick. This is the Minkah Fitzpatrick pick. So Steeler fans, pay special attention to this pick. I did not plan it this way, but I love that I'm picking for them. I didn't know where I was going to go originally with this pick because I thought for sure that they would be taking a quarterback earlier on. I got to still give them a quarterback. I'm going Jordan Love out of Utah State. Show me some love for Jordan Love. He is now wearing the teal and orange. Is it teal? I forget what actually they call it.
Yeah, something like that.
I know the Lions were Honolulu blue. I do know that, but there you go. And Ryan Kellerman, I'm going to bring up Ryan Kellerman. That's very true. At this pick, the Steelers select Minkah Fitzpatrick, safety out of Alabama. Very good. I think that is going to be a can't miss pick. I don't know what this guy. I have a feeling that this guy is going to have a jump on the other rookies because he's going to be able to attend minicamp if others can't. Very solid pick for the Steelers. I love Minkah Fitzpatrick. It was said that his coach, I don't like to say his name because I got into an argument with him when I worked at Enterprise Rent-A-Car, but he who shall not be named, he He says this is the best defender he has ever coached. So there you go. Let's all hail Kevin Colbert and company for picking Minka Patrick and Miami with the 18B pick. Take Jordan Love, the quarterback. Is that a crazy pick here? Is that too early for Jordan Love, Tony?
Probably a little bit too early, but they need a quarterback, that's for sure. They also need a safety, I guess, after trading away Minka. But yeah, I can see that.
So I definitely think that I like that pick. I definitely actually think that could be another actual pick in the draft. If they don't go quarterback the way that I predicted that they would, or the way I mocked that they did, rather, I could definitely see him taking Jordan Love a little early. He's definitely a speedy little guy. He got a lot of Patrick Mahomes in him as far as a raw prospect. I don't know if he's got that kind of ceiling, but I could definitely see Miami picking up Jordan Love by surprise with 18.
Well, very good, very good. Tony, you are on the clock. You are in Las Vegas. I want to go to Las Vegas with Tony, actually. Didn't we promise to take Dennis to Las Vegas last week?
Yes, we did last week. Yeah.
So when we take Dennis to Las Vegas, you got to make sure that you go too. That'll be a great time. I want to party with Tony in Vegas. I'm sure that what happens in Vegas will not stay in Vegas, because I've got the microphone and I'm telling everybody.
We're writers, so we're going to write about it.
So, Tony, what's going on in Vegas?
Well, they addressed their receiver position earlier in the first round, so this seems like a pretty Wes talked about a very Cowboys pick. This seems like a very Raiders pick. So with the 19th pick in the draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select A.J. Terrell, cornerback out of Clemson.
A.J., I think it's Terrell.
Terrell.
I'm not sure. And
a bit of a reach.
And I tell you what, instead of trying to type this and multitask, Wes, when you're not talking, mute your mic a little bit. I think we're getting some background, but then remember to put it back on then. So AJ Terrell, Wes, go ahead and put it back on. What do you think about AJ? Because I don't know much about Terrell. I know the greatness that happens in Clemson there. I've heard a little bit about him. I think this is a solid pick.
I like the player. I think it's about a round and a half early, or too early, but because it's the Raiders, I agree with Tony here. It's a Raider-like pick.
Right, he's a fifth-rated cornerback, so that makes sense that they would take him there.
Yeah, he's a fast. He's got good speed for a corner, good cover ability, some down in the box ability. He's kind of like Mike Hilton in a way, although he's more of an outside. I view him as more of an outside corner. But it's definitely, I mean, from my viewpoint, it's definitely early. There's at least two corners I definitely put in front of him at this point. But again, because it's Oakland, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
All right, well, keep it going. I would love, you know what? I would love to trade you this pick. I would love to have the Jaguars pick, because I have a perfect guy for him, and I'm not going to, but I think they could steal somebody here. Who do you have going to Jacksonville for?
You know what? There's a couple guys that I want to go with here. Obviously, I can only pick one. I feel like it's not even necessarily a need for them. I thought about going corner. I thought about going edge. I'm actually going to go wide receiver.
Ooh.
I'm going to go with Justin Jefferson out of LSU. I think that if you went with Herbert with their first pick, I believe, and I feel like if you're going to go quarterback here, you've got to pack down that wide receiver corps. They got DJ Chark already, and then they've got some okay wide receivers behind him. Justin Jefferson gives you another outside receiver. Very mature, very good person, good talent. I think I don't necessarily think they're smart enough to make this pick for real, but that's who I would select if it were me.
All right, I thought they were going edge. I was going with Jason, and I just wanted to say his name.
That is the guy I thought about taking.
That's really. If I was in the front office with you, I would be fighting for Jason right there. But it's Jacksonville, so really good pick. Here's the team, the Philadelphia Eagles. They take a lot of wide receivers. It seems like every year they're jumping on that wide receiver train. A lot of people have them going for the speedster from Arizona State. I'm not, since this guy is still around. I am going to look at the big guy T. Higgins from Clemson. Going to Philadelphia. They need a wide receiver. They need one bad. I'm going with T.
I like it, but there's one major concern I have about T. Higgins. There's some real question about whether or not at the NFL level he can actually get and create separation from defenders. He's got respectable speed. He doesn't have Jerry Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb, Henry Ruggs speed. But one thing that isn't a question mark is when you get this guy in the red zone, he's almost a tight end. He's big body, great hands. You throw the ball to him, he's going to catch it. So I could definitely see the Philadelphia Eagles picking up T. Higgins at this point.
All right. Let's keep this party going. Minnesota. Skull, Tony. Skull.
Skull. Is that Skull? All right.
I'm not talking about Chew that you probably snuck way back in the 1980s. I'm talking about that's what they say in Minnesota, I believe. So there you go. What's going on with the Vikings? This is the pick they got from the Bills when Stephon Diggs departed. So what do you think for them?
Well, I was going to go receiver, but it seems like most of them are gone now, most of the really good ones. So what I've seen from the stuff I've researched is they need some help on the secondary, a cornerback. So with that being said, I'm going to go with T. Diggs, cornerback from Alabama.
All right. A lot of Crimson Tide going out here in this draft. So let's see. Let's go through these picks pretty quickly because we've got about 12 minutes till the bewitching 6 o'clock hour and the 1 hour mark. So let's go quickly to New England. What do you think? New England.
Gonna go with the guy that I was thinking about going with, Jacksonville. Edge rusher, LSU, Caleb Vaughn, Chason.
Chason. Wow, he could be very dangerous for that team. Very interesting. So I'm going to go with the New Orleans Saints. They need a lot of things, but I'm actually going to give them a linebacker. One of their needs. Love this guy, Patrick Queen, out of LSU. He's the guy that seems to be omnipotent and everywhere. Not impotent, Tony, but omnipotent. And so I kind of like this pick for the Saints. Patrick Queen going down to New Orleans. Number 25, Minnesota, Tony.
Well, I'm going to go with best player available, and that would be AJ Epinesa, defensive lineman, Iowa.
I am glad he did not drop to Baltimore. I will say that. Wes, what do you think about AJ from the Hawkeyes?
I like it. He's not the most athletic guy, but he does have athleticism. He's got a high motor, high ceiling, very high ceiling. So I definitely think that's a good pick right there.
All right, let's keep it going. Miami's picking again. This is their trade from the Texans.
Yep. So Tony brought this up. They really, really need a safety. There's two that could go here. My favorite safety in the draft, which is where I'm going to go, out of Alabama, safety Xavier McKinney. I think the best fit for Miami. He can play any safety position you want. He's the closest thing to a Minka Fitzpatrick you're going to get in this draft.
Wow, bold statement. I like this guy, and I like this pick here for Miami. Fantastic pick there. Not going with the running back there, which a lot of people feel maybe I should have done that with the running back at 18. But in our draft, they're picking up a quarterback. They're getting a dynamic linebacker in Isaiah Simmons, and now they get their safety. That's a pretty good haul
for 3 picks.
Yeah, so not that bad at all. Gosh, I am struggling with Seattle, and Seattle makes a lot of strange trades and strange moves and picks. They're needing offensive linemen. I was looking at McKinney there. They need a defensive lineman. But you know what? I'm looking at this team, and I'm going to go a little crazy here, and I'm going to say that this team needs a running back. So I'm going to probably break some hearts, but I'm going to go J.K. Dobbins. Either that or now the Seattle is the type of team that would take J.K. Rowling because they make some really weird picks. But from Ohio State University, sorry, Steeler fans, I don't see him dropping. Should have probably taken him from Miami, but let's send Dobbins to Seattle. I mean, their running back situation is not. I mean, it's not beautiful.
No, it's definitely not. That is kind of a Seattle-like running back. He kind of fits their style of running. He's a very powerful runner. Got enough speed to matter. I could definitely see this. It makes a ton of sense. It's very, very Pete Carroll-ish.
Yeah, that is a Pete Carroll pick. Now, Tony, you are up. You have the Baltimore Ravens, and you are not allowed to pick up Hunter.
No, well, I wish I could, but the Ravens, from what I've read, they need some more edge rushing help. So I'm going to go with a name that I'll probably butcher, but Yetter Gross made us edge rusher from Penn State University.
I believe it's Gross Matos.
There you go. Thank you. Speaking of a Yinzer accent, that's what I did right there. Yinzer accent.
You need to do a little more Yinzery. I want the Steelers to take him just because that would be a great name to have Yinzer pronounce. Yeah, pretty good pick. What do you think, Wes?
I like it. I definitely think he's, at worst case scenario, an early second round pick. Being a Penn State fan, this could end up actually in retrospect end up being a little early for him. However, when the real draft gets here, I don't think people are going to realize this until he gets on the field. I could definitely see him going in the first round. He's a talented player. I just think he's going to be drafted a little bit above his actual skill level.
All right. Go ahead with the Tennessee Titans, a surprise team from last year, going all the way to the AFC Championship game. What's going on in Music City?
I tell you what, this one was a tough one for me. They need edge. They need defensive line. They need offensive line, running back, potentially, although they franchised Derrick Henry. However, my second corner on the board is still there, and what college he goes to escapes me, but Christian Fulton.
Oh yeah, that guy was an early pick.
Yeah, that's what I see him going here. solidifying that secondary.
LSU.
LSU, there you go. Yeah, he's my second. Only and right following that is Trevon Diggs, who Tony went with earlier. At number 3, that would be my third corner off the board, in my opinion. But yeah, Christian Fulton falling to the Tennessee Titans, I could see them grabbing him.
All right, so let's keep this going. This is my final, as we're getting ready to get off here in about 5 minutes. This is my final pick. At number 30, it's the Green Bay Packers. They need some wide receivers. They need some help for Aaron Rodgers. They need somebody that could run a 4.28 if he's telling the truth in his virtual pro day. So we're going to TCU, Jalen Reagor. He's a speedster. Receivers, but here we go. Let's go Reagor for Green Bay.
I'm going to let you have it for that one because you stole my thunder. So screw you, Bryan. You said you wanted me to let you have it, so there you go. So now I'm scrambling with the 31st pick. The 49ers need receiver help, so I'm going to go with Denzel Mims out of Baylor, wide receiver.
I really like that pick.
Oh, really never mind then, Bryan. I like your pick better. Good. I'm glad you went with Reagor. See, because Wes knows what he's doing. All right.
Yeah, there you go. All right. The Super Bowl.
Kansas City. I'm going to break some hearts here with Kansas City. I know people probably are hoping he falls, but it's not going to happen. Sorry, folks. Jonathan Taylor is going to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Jonathan Taylor. There's the other running back, not Swift from Georgia, but Jonathan Taylor. That wraps up the first round of the draft. Now, let's pole vault all the way to number 49. We're going to start with Tony, and we're all going to make our picks here. Tony. Now, we're going to do this a little different. If you take somebody for the Steelers, he's off the board. Okay? So you were the first one at 49, Tony.
Well, I was going to go with running back because I think that's the obvious choice here. So I'm going to go with J.K. Dobbins from Ohio State.
We already picked him.
Oh, did you? Oh, I'm sorry. Wow.
Yeah, Dobbins.
Oh, okay. Well, then I have to go with DeAndre Swift. Then I thought we were just doing that as a separate thing. But okay, then I'll go with DeAndre Swift from Georgia. That's a better value pick.
That will be noted that you think that my pick is a bunch of bull and the Steelers. Wes, who do you got?
It's not the pick I want, the position I want, but I'm going to stick with Tony here and say that in the second round they go running back, but I'm going to go with Cam Akers out of Florida State.
Wow, you guys are going running back. Look, I don't think Swift's a possibility. I just kind of think that if the Steelers are going to be picking a running back at that position, they are going to go with a guy like Taylor, or they're going to go with Dobbins. That's what they're maybe Swift. I mean, Swift would be a possibility if he doesn't get if Miami doesn't take him. So with that being said, I am going. The first two letters of my name are B.A. I have two guys that I'm going to select because I'm taking the roles, I guess. But I'm going with two guys here, and they both have the initials B.A. But my number one choice that I really think that the Steelers are going to go with, an edge rusher from, I believe it is Utah. Yep. Bradley Anai. So I am going with Bradley Anai from Utah. I think they go ahead and get their starter for 2021 in this draft. I think they're going with Anai. So I just gave myself a bonus pick because that's what I'm doing. And if they go wide receiver, this guy's there. He's a speedster. He's a return man from Arizona State. Brandon Ayuk. I cannot pronounce it. I have no clue how to pronounce his name. But there we go. So, those are my two possibilities there. And sorry, I took an extra guy, but I went last, so I get to do that. In the next 2 minutes before we show off, throw out in the live chat who you think that should have went in the first round. Antoine Winfield Jr. That's would be a fantastic pick. Ryan Kellerman says him. Tate Boy says, "Bad. What are you doing? An eye can be had in round 3. That's a possibility too." My buddy Dave Schofield's backing me up. He took an eye in some mocks, but in round 3. Kathy just dropped in while at work. We'll listen to the show and drive home. Really enjoyed seeing Wes on the show. Great idea. Hey, this remember your chances next week to go ahead. We're not going to have your face on the show, but we can go ahead and do it through the live draft. If you want to be a GM, we have 32 slots, not 32 teams, but 32 slots, and there's only 26 teams drafting, and you will get a team and a pick. We're going to draft out of a hat. We're doing it on next week's show. It's not our show. It's your show next week. Wes, you're already in that draft too. You just don't know where you're picking.
That's right.
We probably have about half. So let's go ahead. Tony, I'm going to ask you you type faster than me, and you multitask better than me. BADavis8889@gmail.com. If you could throw that in the live chat there. And while we're doing that, please go ahead, email me. There's still plenty of room to get in. We probably have close to half right now. If you do want to get in, your chance to get in is here. We'll go ahead and publish on BTSC. Where you're going to go ahead and fall probably about maybe Saturday or Sunday or whenever we have it filled up. Basically, you're gonna, when it's your turn, you're going to be on the live chat and you're going to type it in on the live chat. We just ask you to please, one, don't pick somebody that's already been picked. And the other thing, make sure that if you sign up, that you can definitely be here at 5 p.m. next Monday for our first ever draft. So I'm really excited for it. I also want to welcome a listener from, actually a listener/viewer, Timo. I'm going to say Michelle, Timo Michelle maybe, or Timo Michael. Greetings from Germany. Love you all. And he threw in a currency worth 2.00 since I'm not good with, I don't know, francs. I have no clue. Shows how much I know. Dave Schofield is saying Bryan, a Steelers select Darrell Lewis, edge from Alabama.
I could dig that.
But he already went. Tony already sent him somewhere. So, hey, get your emails into me, Ryan Kellerman. I see ya. Thank you for
by the way, I just want to interrupt for a second, Bryan. I couldn't figure out how to email or type anything. I can't see a box to type your email. So I
will go ahead and do it here. It is BADavis8889@gmail.com. As I'm trying to type it in here, and go ahead and really get those in, and I'll put it up on the screen too as well. Love to have you on the show next week, and we'll be filling that in. Mark Davison, he knows about currency. He's in Australia. He's saying that's $20 USA. So thank you so much, Timo. We love having you listening. It is great to have Steeler Nation with us. Hey, this was a fun show. It's going to be even more fun next week when you all join us and make your picks. Not much question to answer tonight because of the draft. We already have Australia showing up 7 a.m. his time. Down under, Mark Davison will be picking for one of these teams. And now he's saying, ha ha ha, I'm joking. So maybe he's not going to be here. But oh no, that's probably about the $20. So okay, well now you got my hopes up, Mark. You owe me 20 Australian dollars. Now because now I'm all excited. So Mark, you owe me. That's your entry fee for next week. So with that being said, Wes, thank you so much.
Hey, it was an honor. Thank you.
And like I said, Wes is the guy that sends us stuff all the time. Will be writing for us on the website. Remember, Behind the Steel Curtain for all your Pittsburgh Steelers needs, especially coming up in front of the draft. If it's breaking news, we're going to have it. We're going to have all kinds of not just articles, mock drafts, speculation, all kinds of stuff. But if it's news, you have it here at Behind the Steel Curtain. Jeff and Dave head up that site. Jeff being the editor, Dave being the deputy editor. Tony and I write. Wes will be writing in the future, hopefully. We have a lot of talent with new writers coming on all the time, a lot of talent coming in. Hope to hear from you. But Wes, thanks again. Tony, as always, we love our viewers here, but we got to go Roddy Piper. We went a little bit late, but just to quote the great, the legend, Roddy Piper. Just when you think you got all the answers,
we keep changing the questions. See you next week.
See ya.